Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is 6:23 a.m. Scott has left for work. The cats have the door open to the catio, even though the air conditioner may still come on because it's already 73 degrees outside. We keep the house about 74 during the day. If the temp starts going any higher, I might have to get used to it at like 75 or 76. But for right now, it's about 74. I keep it at during the day, and then overnight, we turn it down to about 71 just to sleep. But that might all change depending on what the next month's electric bill looks like. But anyway, that's just a little background on us and how we live our lives. So we're going to do some flowers, or a flower this morning. We'll see. Good morning, Melanie. I have my rice bag out that I had so much fun slow stitching on and creating. And I did that with K3N Cloth Tails. And she is a delight to watch. I haven't caught any of her latest videos. I need to see what's going on, see if I've been unsubbed or whatever. But I thought we would do a flower kind of like this one today, where it's like a side view of the flower. And I can already tell I forgot to turn the autofocus off. Let me do that real quick. I might come in just a little bit closer. There we go. So you can see the flowers a little better. And I will try to work, where you guys can see, but sometimes I have to get it a little closer, to just improve the vision for me. So we're going to do one like this. I'm going to take these others away that I've created, and we'll do one more different style later on. But I thought I'd just leave this one off to the side just a little bit so that you could still see it, but we would work on something else. So I have my little embroidery hoop. I have my jar lid. Here's a piece of fabric, but let's see if it'll work, if it's big enough to go in my tiny little hoop here. I think it will. I found a new guy to watch on the Reels, and I might put a link to his channel or his, whatever, in my description box after the show. But he was showing how to do continuous bias tape with a 15-inch square. I've done it with a 10-inch square, but the 15 looked like it would finish out nicer than using a 10-inch square. I'm going to cut this excess off, or it's just going to be in my way. Just going to get that so it's not hanging down. There we go. Stick that back in my bag, and then I think I used the outer diameter for this, so I'll set this on here. Good morning, Vicki. And I'm just going to draw a pencil line, guideline, around the outside of this canning jar lid. And again, if you don't have a canning jar, just use the lid off, anything that you have. And so now I need to create a flower, and I thought this blue is pretty. It's a batik, so it changes color as you go along here. And what I did for this one, it consists of just 4 petals and then the leaf pieces. So what I do is I focus on the petals first, and I got 2 different values. You'll see that there's a lighter pink and then a darker kind of mauve. So if I get that, let's see, what do I have? I have some of this birdie fabric. That would be 2 different shades, but I don't really care for that with it. This navy blue with daisies. Let's see what that looks like with it. I'm probably not going to like it either, but I wanted to show you how I kind of pick the fabrics that I do. Actually, that doesn't look half bad. I have a bunch of this. I actually like those 2 together more than that, but I really want something to go with that. That would be pretty with it. And we only need enough for 4. And I have a bunch of this, so we'll use that for the leaves again. And again, I don't draw a pattern or anything like that. I just eyeball the petals. And this one I would do as a single, 1 petal at a time. So I need 2 out of this. So I'm going to just fold it in half. And you can always trim it smaller. And it looks like I made these about 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay. I'll open that up. And that one will be the one that's at the back in the middle. And I would stitch that down. And the other 2 will go here and here. And then after I embroider the stamen, then I put this one on. But for right now, I'm going to leave it like that. That'll go back in my bag of goodies. And I'm going to fold this in half here. Sorry for the sniffling. And I'm just going to cut this around. Thursday is Juneteenth, and the Columbia Museum of Art is offering free admission. So Scott is off, so we might go to the museum. They've got a really beautiful display of a African American that did wood, what are they called? Where it's like carving a stamp, but they do it in wood. And it's a beautiful display. It really is. And I want to share that with Scott. I've already seen it once, but, sharing the experience with someone else always makes it a lot more fun. And I think the last time I went with it's not wood burning. They carve it and then they use it to print with. Yeah, it's a print. It's kind of like the Indian printing where they use teak, but they use a different wood, I think. I was fascinated by his pieces when I saw them there. It was all of everyday people doing everyday jobs. All right, so I'm going to cut this kind of at an arch for the one for the right side. So that's kind of got an arch on it, and I'm going to put that there. And you'll see how this comes together. And then I need the arch to go the opposite way. So I'm just going to turn my fabric over. So I'm cutting it from the back. And I'm going to do that little archy, like almost trying to cut a paisley piece. And that'll go on this side here. And then I cut one right for the middle. Right in the middle. And I can trim these to any length. That would go there. And if you leave this a little bit longer, then you can embroider a stem off from it. All right, so now I'm going to put it together. Put these back in the bag. So the first one I want to put on is that pink in the background. And I don't think I have a pearl cotton. Yeah, they did. When I worked there, they had, in fact, I bought the elephant. I have it here somewhere. But these are like huge plates, like square plates. And they would do like a whole image, or he would have different plates for each segment. Like there would be some characters picking cotton in this one. And then this other one, there might be some people working inside a house, either cooking or, everyday life type stuff is what he did. It was just beautiful. And it was a beautiful record of history. And I would just love to share that experience with Scott. As I'm over 60 now, I'm really leaning toward wanting to just experience things, like whether it's finding a new bakery to try, like we did on Saturday, or go to live performances. I was telling Scott that up at the Newberry Opera House, there's a group of gals that are going to be performing there that I think would be wonderful to go see. And the name of the group is the Whalin' Jennies. And I just got the biggest giggle just out of their name. So I'm sure Scott and I would love their show. The Whalin' Jennies. I'm going to use the variegated blue on the blue petals. I wish I had a variegated kind of pinky color. I'm leaning toward this one. And then I need a green. And I use the dark green on that one. I think I'll use this more olive green on here. I need an Ort bag for my little pieces of thread here. Just basically a container to hold the threads. Got my needle. Don't think I'm going to need the pin today. So I'm going to start with this one here. I think I took some pictures when Robin and Rhonda and I went to the museum of these art prints. Hang on, let me look on my phone. I might still have them on my phone. Hang on. I just think they're so beautiful. I'm going to show you. This is my sweet mother-in-law. She just gets tinier and tinier. We went to see her. She hadn't eaten all day. I don't know what we're going to do with her if she don't start eating better. Scott put up a new light in the kitchen this weekend, which I thought was awesome. So now I can see in that corner of the room. I won't share these other pictures from Saturday because I'm just not going to. Let's see. There's our flowers. So I need to go way back here. That was our anniversary trip. I should go through and label my pictures so they're easier to find, shouldn't I? I may have way too many pictures on here. I'm wondering if I ever mailed the little badges off to Heather and Ann. Can't remember if I did or not. It's getting warm in here. I'd like to do some gel printing at some point if you guys are up to that. Oh, there we are. I'll show you guys. Let's see here. That's me with my sisters. The one in the middle is my youngest sister. She teaches math at the university. And then my sister Robin, the potter, is on the other side from me. And of course, that's me with the big glasses. But we had so much fun. Hi, Giovanna. Yeah, I need to do something. I kept thinking, oh, I'll print these out. Yeah, right. Let me see if I can find the printmaker's stuff. I just love to go to the art museum, but we rarely go. Oh, you know what? It doesn't look like I took any pictures of that after all. So maybe I'll make sure I do this time. Oh, I didn't. We went when the glass display was there. You can see a piece in the background that's hanging from the ceiling, and it's all these different pieces of glass. Cholula it was a wonderful, we had a big time. So I'm sorry, I don't have any pictures of those prints. So I will have to see if I can get some the next time I go. All right, so let's see if Becky can thread a needle this morning. And I am going to attach my petals one at a time. And because these are going to have the batting on the back, I'm not going to worry about tying knots. If this was going to be something that needed to be flat, I would have, not tied a knot. I would have just sewed through twice. I'm going to take my petals that are on the top and just flip them upside down. And I'm going to stitch this one on with just a quick running stitch. Uh-oh. Don't worry. If you want to, you can pin it in place. I just want the bottom of the petal somewhere near the middle of the flower. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see if I can do a running stitch. Sometimes I think it's easier to work outside a frame, but I have a frame, so I'm going to use it. I saw that Miriam is safe in a refuge, so that's good to know that she is safe. I was glad to see that she reported that they were safe in a refuge. All right, that one I can't turn the needle because I'm too close to the edge of the thing. I ordered a magnifying lamp so I can work on that cross stitch because I really want to do that. I got that magazine and that project was in there. It spoke to me, and then my friend Lynn said that, oh, there's a cross stitch along for that project. And some of the people that do floss tube videos, #FlossTube, they're working on it. So I'm going to join that. And I guess I need to do like a weekly update video on that project. And I'm going to just leave my thread here and kind of just leave it hanging. And then I'm going to start putting on these others. With some of this thread. Good morning, Lala. Thank you for mentioning the thumbs up. It does help. And now this is a variegated thread, so it'll change color as I go around. Uh-oh, hang on. I was going to say I should have took that thread to the back side, but I'm going to leave it there for right now. And now this one, I'm just going to start on this side. I could put a pin in it. It would be easier. And if I go a little outside my circle that I drew on here, it's okay. And I don't even worry if the pencil line is still visible, because by the time I add the the green leaves on the outer edge like this, you won't see the other edge. Thank you. My old dog is not doing so well. I don't know. I keep saying, she's really old. She could go at any time. And we will not get a replacement dog. I'm going to convert to cats only. I just can't do multiple types of pets anymore. One is enough to keep up with. And I like the goofball cats, and they hang out with me, and they take care of me when I'm sick. She doesn't really do much for me. She's just kind of there, poor old thing. But I've started getting her eardrops going again, thinking maybe she's got something going on with her ears. I don't know. She keeps doing little circles in the backyard, and she never lays down outside in the heat, so I have to keep bringing her in, and I have to just make her take a nap, put her in her crate for a little bit to get her to cool off, and it's just been so hot. I would like to, at some point, go up to Traveler's Rest near where we used to live up in Greenville. I just want to go and see the large art bunnies that have been installed along the Swamp Rabbit Trail. Ever since I learned about it, I've kind of been like thinking about it in the background. I think next weekend, though, we are planning to do some work in the front room. We've decided we're going to go ahead and repair the walls on the side where we have the flooring done, and we've put that red rosin paper down to protect the floors. We're going to do the repairs in the walls where the fellas dinged it up and where it's been needing some repairs, and get it all nice and smooth. And then we're going to repaint the room. And we're going to just put the same color that we had on the side walls, because the end walls, the shorter end walls, we put accent color on. But this time, instead of putting the smoke tan that used to be in this room, we're going to use the Jasper green like on the fireplace in here. And we're going to use that on either end of that great big room. It draws the ends of the room in visually. And I think that looks nice. So we're going to do that. And we'll only probably paint half of the end walls, over to the part where we've already finished the flooring. And then once all of the walls are repaired and repainted, then we'll move the furniture across the room onto the floor that we just finished, so we can rip up the rest of the old floor. And it's just a slow going process, but we'll get there. All right, this needs to go to the back side. So I'm going to unthread my needle over here, and I'll probably get it tangled up, but I need it at the back side here so it's out of the way. If I was smart, I would have had 2 needles out. That's okay. I'm just going to pop it through to the back. Hopefully I won't tangle them together too much. And then I'm going to put this on here. I think this is the right side. Let's trim a little bit here. All right, now I will thread the blue thread back up. Yeah, I've got to just focus on because we have 5 cats in the house, and then the neighbor cats that come that they've just kind of kicked out. Some of y'all helped me get one of the the females fix, Juanita, and she's still out there. And I don't think she would get along with the cats in here. She hangs out in the yard, and every time I go out there, she greets me. She's I call her my yard panther. She's a cute little thing. And I'm going to have a long jump over to this one. But by the time I tied a knot and everything, maybe that'll help hold that out of the way. And again, I should be able to do a running stitch. Oh, you know what? I should have pulled the yellow out or something for the stamen. I'm going to be without transportation this week because our son, he was trying to do something in the yard with his wheels. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but the tool that he bought to do the job isn't big enough to handle the wheels that he currently has. So his dad has the parts because Greg doesn't get off from work in time to get by any of the shops because all the shops close at like 5 o'clock. So Scott's going to swing into one of the garages and see if they can press out the part of this piece that he needs and then press the new pieces in for him. And then Greg can put the car back together. But he's going to be using our truck until he gets his car back together. So that means Mom is at home, which is okay. I had Scott run. We went and ran to, different grocery stores and stuff. So I have everything I need here. I did order some water soluble stuff that you can embroider through, and then you run it under water and it goes away. All right, I'm going to take this to the back, and I could tie this off because I'm not going to use this blue thread again right away. Oh boy. Good enough. So now what I need to do is I need to put this stamen in because I need this petal to kind of cover the bottom of those stitches. So I'm just going to grab some yellow, or maybe we'll do something more toward orange because there's a little orange in here. Let's do this one and pull that thread out. Start making a new ort pile. And I still have the red is to the back because I still have to put that petal on. Let's get some of this off from here. Is Heather here? Good morning, Heather. Yeah, it's got like a sticky back, so you can like trace over stuff. I don't know if you can print on it. That would be interesting to see if I can put it through the printer to print things off. If not, I'll just trace it. But I have a really old flower book that I bought at the bins that it's really dilapidated, but the drawings are in it are all drawings that were hand done. Good morning, Janet. So I'm just going to do these. I can't remember what Carol called them, where you do like a stalk with a French knot at top. I don't remember what it's called. horrible. So I need to put this on to kind of let me know where I need to be. And that can come up here. So I want this to just have about a half an inch exposed here on that petal. So I want my little stamen piece to end up here. All right, so I'm going to do all of the stemmy stalk pieces of it, and then I'll just do a row of French knots at the top. Uh-oh, I did it again. Uh-oh, that's not right. I was like, why do I have so much of that? There we go. Took care of it. All right, I'm just going to put like 5 little things. And now I'm going to do the French knots. And Anne's going, no French knots. All right. So I just take it and I wrap it around 3 times because I want big, chunky things. And then I kind of just get it pushed through the fabric. And I've got all of the thread that's wrapped down toward there. And I kind of keep that all down there. But you don't wrap it so tight you can't pull the needle through. And there you go, French knot. You can only, you can do them smaller with just 2 wraps. But 1, 2, 3. I'm doing 3 because I want the little knots to stand up. Scott's brother was at his mother's last night, so we caught up with him. I was finally able to give him the card I'd picked up about all the railways that are up in Tennessee, the touristy railways, because he was saying that they'd be interested on taking some of those train rides. So I saw that when we were at the cavern, the falls thing that we did underground. We were like 250 something feet underground or something like that. And it was beautiful. And I think I've wrapped my thread too tight, so I'm having some trouble. Oh, I've gone through the knot. That's what's wrong. See if my original knot. Can I rescue it? There we go. And one more knot. Oh, come on. 1, 2, 3. All right. I only do 2 on my knots at the back. And then I'm just going to cut this one free. All right, then I'm going to put my petal on like so. I got to rethread this thread. You've seen her trace but not print from a printer. Okay. it just looked like it would be a lot of fun to add things to my whatever I do with my flowers that I get. I just got to figure out some way to keep everybody's name attached to their flower. I mean, on the pieces that Ann and Kathy sent me where we did the boho blocks that I have in the shadow boxes, I just made like a little nameplate to put underneath their pieces so I can always look up and say, oh, Kathy made that one or Ann made that one. All right, so I'm going to start on this side. And I probably don't even need to start all the way down. I can start near where I left off on the other one. There we go. I could probably cut some of this off so I lose that bulk. This is all going to be hidden under the petals that I'm going to add. I didn't even pick it up. Oh, and the game I was mentioning in the Friday crafting chat that I couldn't remember that Greg liked to play, and it was Fable. He liked that game because he could kick the chickens. I was like, why do you want to kick the chickens in the game? He said, because they go, brah. And I'm like, oh my God. He's so wrong on so many levels sometimes. He will be up and about in about 30 minutes. Just making sure I'm not knotting up. And he said another favorite, because I asked him what the game was. He said, oh, that's Fable. He said, another favorite part of mine is, he said, is when you get your character, you make him get really drunk, then the girls in the game won't have anything to do with you. And they'll tell you, no, thanks. I'm washing my hair. Hi, Janet Nash. Good morning. So this doesn't really look like much of a flower at this point, but when you add the leaves, it really brings it to life. And you'll see where when I hook my layers together, I actually changed the color of the floss to this darker color, from the leaves to up here. And I'm going to do that on this one as well, because I just think it makes it show the difference. You've been stitching on your flowers this weekend? That's awesome. All right, I'm going to put that to the back, tie knot. Oh, there, the flights are taking off from the airport. So it's going to be getting loud again. I don't know if you guys can even hear the planes, but there'll be a lot of them taking off shortly because it's that time of day and it's a Monday. So there'll probably be a lot more planes heading out to Charlotte or Atlanta. I don't think there's any direct flights that come in and out of this area at all. All right, so now we're going to put the 2 petals on either side down. So I'll stick that one there. I could probably come up farther. Let's come up here. Put that one there, and I will get a pin to hold this in. Got me. And now I'll put the other curved one on this side. And I'm just going to stitch that one. And then the last petal will go in the middle like so. And see, then you have your little flower that looks like it's coming from the side. And I thought it would be interesting to do some different ones. Everybody liked this blue one here. And this one's made up of petals that are real pointy. And that's how I got that one. So if you wanted to make one with more pointy petals, or you could even do one with larger. What on earth have I done? I have no idea. Well, I hate to do that. Yeah. There we go. I don't know if you guys could hear that bullfrog out there. That's in the neighbor's cement pond, because it literally has cattails growing out of it. It's pretty bad. Sometime I ought to take a picture. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I think I said hi to Heather. Heather, did I ever send you the flower badge? If not, I'm wondering what I did with it. You and Ann should have gotten a little badge like, where is it? A little flower badge like this. I hope I have sent it to you. Wow, this is way too much thread. Let's cut this in half. I don't want to deal with that much thread. It'll just make knots and make a mess. Sorry, sniffling. Hi, Ann. It's okay. I wanted to fall back asleep. I had a bad tummy night. I ate too much yesterday, and I paid for it all night long. But then I said, well, Scott needs to go to work. And then he said he wasn't feeling good. So I told him, I said, maybe we got too much sun on Saturday. Oh, and we had a delightful walk from downtown Columbia to get back across. And then Greg picked us up right in the middle of the bridge. He saw us and he put the emergency flashers on and just stopped the truck right in the middle of the bridge. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And we jumped in as fast as we could. And then he drove us on home. We were almost to the bakery at that point, but he was feeling bad that we were out in the heat. So Greg to our rescue. But on our walk, I found the place I have to go for my mammogram. So I know exactly where it is now. And that's comforting when you know where your appointment's going to be. And I'll really know exactly how long it'll take me to get there. Less than 10 minutes. And that's not till August, I think. Because our regular place that I had been going has been closed indefinitely. And I think it's because of federal funding being cut. Which sucks because I really like to go there. And I hope this place has the newer machines, because that other place I went at the Baptist hospital, they are still using the really old machines where they physically crank down on you. I will not go back there again. If they tell me that's my only option, too bad I'm not getting a mammogram. That was awful. And the technician was rude. And they used to be known as the breast cancer hospital. I wouldn't go there for breast cancer for nothing. Just saying. Is Janice here? Hi, Janice Glines. And we saw some of the some other restaurants we didn't know were open and available, because when you're on foot, you see more. When you're trying to drive down there, it's impossible to just slow down and look, because it's full of young people that have zero patience, and they don't want older generations down in their part of town, because it's basically all just the University of South Carolina. And so everybody's young and hip down there, I guess. And we don't go downtown Columbia much, but I think I would love to go to the art museum on Thursday for Juneteenth, because Scott will be off. He gets the day off. And free admission to an art museum. That doesn't happen all the time. I think I'd like to take advantage of that. Oh, it's knotted or something. What is it doing? There we go. All right, I'm going to jump over and do this petal, but I think I want to turn it out a little bit like that. Try not to stab myself this time. And because I put that backing on my flowers, I don't see all of this. Trying to stay where you guys can see what I'm doing, but it's hard because I have to angle it toward me. And I do think next weekend we'll get back to work at fixing the walls and stuff in the front room. I have to box up everything in my big hutch again, just because we have to have it empty to move it. We'll probably need Greg's strength to move it. I like where it is right now, but I don't want to move it twice. So we'll probably just put it back where it used to be before we even started with the floors, which was on the opposite wall. It'll be all right. And I'll just put my flower pictures back up on the wall where the hutch is currently. I don't have the fancy dishes anymore that were in there because I don't entertain in that way. So I have art from friends. I have the little plates I use to bake a small birthday cake and give it to somebody. They're thrifted plates, so I just give them the plate and all. And then that way I don't have to worry about keeping up with the plates. I can just make a tiny cake. It's only like 6 inches around, 2 layers, and they turn out so cute, and they make such a lovely gift for a friend or a sister or whatever. And I quit buying the plates because I haven't had an opportunity to make them, so I might as well wait until I've given a couple away. Ouch. This I technically don't need to stitch the entire petal down, but it's okay if you do. I've already pulled the thread off anyway, so might as well use it. And all this thread was thrifted thread, I think, except for the variegated. That I got when Joann's was closing. I think, well, no, some of this was bought at Joann's when I worked there, and it was closeout threads, and they've just been in my stash for a long time. Right. And I'll put this on here. And remember, I'm going to go past the edge of the circle just so that it looks like a stem could come out of here, where you could stitch a stem on your piece and then add the flower. So 2 people will get, a flower, 2 people will get one of these flowers. And I need more green, which I have right here. And then I might have to go over to the drawer if I don't have a piece of batting quite big enough. I need to try to catch up with my sisters. I don't know if Rhonda's back from Kansas City yet. She should be. I think she said 15 days. Or is it? I don't know. This might be her second week there. See, she left on the 5th. 15 days. The 20th. I guess she'll be back by the 20th. Friday. I lead such a different life. But then I think about it. I was raised by a woman born in 1908. And then I was around my great aunts that were born in the early 1900s as well. So all of my skills and interests were developed with people a generation behind my mother's generation. So, and I'm the oldest, so it leads to they have very different lives than I do. And that tied the perfect little knot. There we go. Don't ever try to pull a knot out. Take a minute and work it out, because if you try to pull it, then it sets it, and then good luck. We get this stitched down. I'm going to take it out of the frame here. And then we'll cut it out. And I always leave some of the white beyond the flower to give me something to do this blanket stitch in. I think this gives me 7, and I have 8 people signed up. And again, if you want to limit the number of people you swap with, please let me know. If you want to do all the people that are doing it, we're currently at 8. But if you're not comfortable with that, I'll just assign you, the number you want. Like I know Janet Nash said she'd send one to me plus 4, and Goldie said she thinks 3 people is all she wants to swap with. So we'll work that out. It'll be fine. Good morning, Greg. I'm live.
I'm tired.
You tired?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because you were out working in the sun all afternoon. Ouch. Got me good. All right, I'm going to cut this out here in a second. Actually, let's take it out of there so I can tie a knot in here. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay. Let's see. I was just going to tell you real quick, your work ID and everything that was in your pockets is on the windowsill in the laundry room.
Gotcha. I'm mulling over whether I should call out today or not.
Well, you're using up all your vacation time. That's all I'm saying.
And my
All right.
left foot feels like somebody's driving a hot boat through it.
I'm sorry. You might need to go to the doctor and find out why your foot is hurting so much. All right, I'm going to clip this. All right. Now this is the part where I cut it out. You can see all this thread caught up in it. And I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch beyond the edge, so I have something to do a blanket stitch in. All right, there's that. And see if the batting's got enough. Oh yeah, it's collecting little teeny pieces of fabric all over it. But now this I'm going to pin on here. I might do this here. And I don't want to pin it right to the edge because I want a little bit of the batting showing as well. I'm just going to pin this in the middle and just roughly cut it out because I can trim it away after I've stitched. All right, so it looks huge right now, but it'll finish off down just fine. All right. Let me move these over, and I'll put all of my flowers here to just maybe give you all some inspiration. This is the one we're working on today. And then these are some of the other flowers that I've done. Let's see. And I can't wait to get everybody's and do up a project with them. There's a little black cat. I think it's Phineas's brother, the one we've been calling Midnight. He gets shunned from the group of cats. I don't know. Something about him they don't like. He lives by himself most of the time, and then when he shows up, he cries and cries and cries, which makes me sad. But all right, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. I'm going to start at the edge here and do the bottom half with the blanket stitch. See, I want to work this way. I do better working left to right with the blanket stitch. And I'm just coming up in the white part, the stuff I cut beyond the flower. And then I'm just going to do blanket stitch. So I'll go in and then come out at the edge of the white, have the thread behind it, and pull it up. And I don't pull this one too tight because at the end I'll hook into this part so it looks continuous. And Janet will be on in a bit. Good morning, Teresa. Sorry, I go quiet. I just don't want to stab myself as I'm stitching. I'm sitting here thinking about what I need to get accomplished this week. And since I won't have transportation, there won't be any desire to go anywhere. Of course, there'll be a desire, but there'll be no way for me to do it unless I walk. And I don't pull it real tight because I've used pinking shears, and if I pull it real tight, it'll have a tendency of having it'll pull that fabric in, and I don't want to do that. I want it to lay there. So I'm just pulling it snug but not real tight. So it's down to the edge, and then I stop, and then I do the next stitch. Keep thinking I should be telling them a few tips. But back to what I'm thinking about is I need to get dresses cut out. So I might work at cutting dresses out today. So I may be in folks' chats and things, but I won't be able to chat because I'll be across the room. But I'll be there listening. And Janet had to go get her lunch. Okay. When we get back to the floor, we have to, Scott's got to flip the direction that we're going so that we're nailing into the tongues on the boards to go to the opposite wall. So we might do a video on how we're going to do that when we get to doing it. I need to get him to explain it to me again. So basically we have to be able to switch so the tongue and grooves meet up in the opposite mirrored direction. So we have to do something to one side of the boards to make them meet up with what we have, and then we'll be going in the opposite direction. And why we did it like this is because the original floor was an established plane, and Scott said it would be easier to match that floor that had been done perfectly in 1960 than it would for us to snap a line and then worry whether we were, even or not. And it came out pretty darn close. I think the only difference we had along the wall was a floating 1/4 of an inch. So that'll be covered by the trim at the bottom of the walls, which Scott's been searching for. We cannot buy the same molding because this stuff was like a custom molding, and it's thicker than anything that's put out now, and it's got a curve at the top of the molding. So what Scott's done is he's just bought the blades that he needs to cut his own molding. Good morning, Maria. And so we're waiting for those to arrive. And I'm so thankful he knows how to use all of those tools. And he says he's not creative, but you guys, he's mechanically and creative. I mean, he understands the machinery better than I do and how to, do all these special cuts and things with these machines. All right, I'm going to end the green here. So I'll do one blanket stitch left, and then I'm just going to go down at the top of the blanket stitch to the back side